Hello, folks. Good evening and welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our second book talk. We very much appreciate that you're joining us on a Sunday afternoon. We try to do it early. We'll keep it to an hour. And as usual, we have our incentive of a prize. My name is Adriana Dominguez. I'm an assistant professor and director of the theater programs at UTEP. I think it's really important that we always acknowledge the land that we're on. So we're on the land of the native peoples of the Mansos tribe. And you are part of now the NEA experience. So the NEA is in partnership with Arts Midwest, and it's part of the NEA Big Read program. And what this is trying to, figure out how to communicate through art and literature. And that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. So UTEP was one of 78 nonprofit organizations to receive this $15,000 grant to continue promoting literacy. And we're going to talk a lot about that later on. And again, we're super grateful that you are here to help us meet that mission. And so now I'd like to introduce Rafa Perez, who is our Director of Audience Development.
Yes, hello. Hi, my name is Rafa Perez. As Adriana said, I am the Director of Audience Development at UTEP. And we're so excited to be able to host you all here once again on Crowdcast. For those of you who are new to Crowdcast and have not been in any of our previous events, I just want to explain a little bit about how Crowdcast works so you can feel nice and comfortable here with us today. So over on the right side of your screen, you'll see how we have this lovely chat box. And so if at any point you have any questions or any comments that you'd like to make, please go ahead and chime in on the chat box. We can see that, so we'd love to see any comments and be able to say hello to all of you as well. Down at the bottom, you'll notice that there is also an Ask a Question link. And so with that, if there's at any point you have a question that you would like for Adriana or myself to address during the talk, please drop that question in there and we'd be more than happy to answer those for you. We do also have an interactive activity that we'll be using shortly, so can't wait to be sharing that with you as well. You'll also be noticing that at the bottom there is a small link that says polls. And so what we'll be doing today is, as Adriana mentioned, we do have a competition, a little contest. And so there'll be some more details on that later. But just so you know, you might want to get your selfie smiles ready. And there is going to be a Google Drive link a little bit later that is going to be shared in the chat. And so you'll be sending your photos through that Google Drive link so that we can go ahead and share them with everyone. And we'll be doing a live voting. So that's what I was mentioning with the polls down at the bottom. We'll do live voting, and the polls down at the bottom will be how you all will be able to submit your votes. And that's how we'll be selecting our live winner.
Excellent. Yes. And just so you all know, with our last book talk, we had a drawing contest and we had an amazing drawing. I couldn't have done that in 10 years if I tried. But that winner won a digital gift card to Savage Good. That's one of our partners. And so we have a different prize today, but it is contactless. It'll be sent to your email. That way we can definitely keep our community as safe as possible. And even if you are not from the El Paso area, because I see some of our New York pals here, you'll still be able to use this one. So definitely make sure that you participate. And if you're a little worried that people might not vote for you, maybe get a couple more friends in here, and that might influence the polls. So as we know, today is a book talk. Last time we had a focus, definitely. And today we have a different focus. Each book talk is going to have a different focus. And so if you have your book with you, you can go ahead and pull it out. If not, you can just listen in for a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to page 253, 254. That's in the book, and there's still some copies out there, and Rafa will give us some more info on that. And so we're going to read a little bit from this book, and then we're going to show you one of the scenes. It's been streaming before, so some of you may have seen it already, but this is kind of what influenced that particular scene. So at the bottom of 253, we start with Atomico pulled the staff off his shoulders and started to spin it languidly in front of his face. "What are you, a cheerleader?" Sully answered. His boys guffawed. "Baton twirler," Jimbo laughed. "No," Atomico said. "Samurai." He cracked the pole across Sully's face so fast it looked like a cloud had passed in front of him. His nose smashed loud as a small firecracker, blood exploding from his face. Angel grabbed Sully and launched him through the reeds into the creek. Nayeli knee-kicked Jimbo, and he went down, clutching his legs and howling. His baseball bat fell on the ground. He tried to sit up, and she spun once and kicked him in the jaw. His head bounced off the mud, and he wet his pants. Sully came out of the creek, swung the chain blindly, the blood and tears ruining his eyesight. His homeboys spread out with their arms open. They were closing in on Nayeli. Atomiko stood still, wide-legged, holding his staff perfectly erect before his face. He screamed and lunged 4 times, smack, 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 smack. Sully's scalp parted over his eyebrows and more blood covered his face. He fell to his knees as Atomiko's blows cracked on his shoulders. Angel was moving around like a crab, and he seemed to be bowing to everyone, but when he bowed, the white boys flew through the air. Yeah, Tato shouted, jumping to his feet. One of the thugs decked him with one punch. Nayeli was on the boy in an instant, jabbing him in the neck and around the eyes with her nails striking like a bobcat. He staggered around with her on his back, on his front, up on one shoulder. Get off! Get off! He tried to bear hug her, but she headbutted him. Angel stood in front of Chava and Don Arturo, defending the elders. You all right? He called. We've got it, said Nayeli. And so now we're going to see some of these awesome moves by Nayeli and Atomiko. So if you will just listen to Rafa, he'll tell us how to access that.
Yes, exactly. And so we were going to be sharing that scene with you all on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel for UTEP Theater and Dance. And so the scene has been uploaded there. And if you notice, it's already there on the chat box. And so if you'd like, we're going to go ahead and give you all about 4 to 5 minutes to go ahead and visit that link, watch the scene, and then come right back so that we can continue with our book talk. So we'll leave you to it, and we should be able to meet right back here within the next 4 to 5 minutes.
Awesome. We'll see you in a bit.
Alrighty, everyone, and welcome back. What you just saw was a devised piece of work that we did with Ariana and Felix, who are our Nayeli and our Atomico, in the scenes that we filmed for Into the Beautiful North, which those are based on the script by Karen Zacarias.
Absolutely. And again, we always applaud their creativity because everyone is doing this safely in their own spaces, right? Using maybe the family members that they have at home to help video, or in Ariana's case, to kind of be the brunt of all of the self defense mechanisms. So again, everyone's still working and doing their best in terms of these times. And I think they did amazing. I love those pieces. And so today, we're going to be looking at ideas of gender and stereotypes, specifically within the novel Into the Beautiful North. So we're going to kind of take this in two parts. So we want to talk about what these ideas mean, and then where we see this in the novel. And again, these are just our overall topics. If we go in another way, if someone puts a question or says something in the chat that takes us in another direction, that is totally fine. We just always like to have a place to start. And so we're looking at this idea of a new femininity. What does that mean? And then we also want to discuss those gender stereotypes that we did see. And again, if you haven't read the novel or if you haven't finished it, that's okay. We can still contribute because fortunately or unfortunately, we still see a lot of that right now, not just in the novel. And so then Rafa is going to show you something kind of cool, interactive, to kind of get our minds thinking about this.
Yes, so in order to kind of get us started here with our discussion for today, if you'd all join me by visiting menti.com. I type that in the chat for you all. So you can either visit that on your phone if you're on your computer, or you can open a new tab or a new tab on your phone as well. But you visit menti.com and you'll enter the following code in order to participate with us for today. So the code you'll be using is going to be 7525. And in a moment here, I'll be switching the screen here so I can show you all this presentation that is going to be populated by the participation that you're going to be putting into this. So here we go. And so as you can see here, we're asking in one word, in one word, list how you saw the ideas of femininity in the book. That's a typo, my bad. In one word, list how you saw the ideas of femininity in the book, Into the Beautiful North. There we go. We see some answers starting to roll in there. Yeah. Definitely a lot of forwardness from the women. Women are very, very vocal in Into the Beautiful North. I agree with that. Answer to man, strong, for sure.
Yeah, and as all of you are taking your time, I know we're navigating several sites. We'll give you a few moments to do that. So yeah, anything you think about in terms of femininity in the book, because we definitely have some contrasts within the novel. So we'll give you a few moments to do that, and maybe we'll continue this conversation about like 2 minutes that we have time to enter your thoughts. Excellent. We'll give you just a few more minutes. It's refreshing. You can see every time somebody puts in another word. All right, and as Rafa's refreshing, we see this. We're going to start talking a little bit, so we make sure we keep this within the hour. So we have a lot of really good thoughts here. So we have forward, strong, determination, individual, innovative, outspoken, protective. I see strength, courage, proud, directness. Absolutely. And so I want to talk about a little bit of these, and then Rafa will talk about a little of his thoughts on this, and then we're going to move on to the next kind of big thought. And again, if you have a question or a thought, please put it in the chat. You can put it in that question. If we want to debate something, we can totally do that too. Rafa can bring you on camera too. If we got to fight out an idea, that's totally fine. So we definitely see obviously a lot of strength with Nayeli, right? Knowing that she needs to protect her community, she is gathering her friends, right, to go to a place she has never been to find her father, to save her community. And that's huge. I mean, this is a young person doing that. And I think that definitely speaks to her being strong and brave and courageous. I think that one of his answer to a man is also really interesting too. I think because she is a young woman, she is also dealing with a lot of other things in her space. You know, when men look at her, right? She sometimes knows that she can use a smile or a little bit of flirtation to get what she wants. Also, you know, when she is going to leave, they want to make sure that she is protected, right? That she has macho, right, to help out there, to have some masculinity within that space. And so she's dealing with a lot of that. And I would argue that much of that is still in place. If a young person, especially a young female, or one that identifies as female, wants to take some great steps or wants to take a big adventure, sometimes individuals might not be as supportive of that, worrying because this particular individual is identified as female that they may not be able to do it.
Definitely. And I think it's so funny because even at the beginning, someone like Tacho, for example, he wears makeup and they don't know how to even place him at the beginning, whether they don't even jump. One of the first things that happens, at least in the version of the play, I'm sure that happens in the book as well. I can't remember too clearly. But they mentioned that they ask him if he's an emo kid, just because he has eyeliner on, you know, because they can't fathom that maybe a man is going to be wearing this and is okay with being seen or viewed as feminine almost. There's also one of my favorite parts of the story is the name of his taco place, which he calls La Mano Caída. Is La Mano Caída, Taqueria e Internet, La Mano Caída. And he says that he feels that it's very brave and macho to call his taco establishment that. And there's a few dimensions in terms of femininity or masculinity here that I can see, because first of all, I feel like Tacho definitely has this idea that because I think it's very common in the culture, this idea of being macho, being a man means you need to be that a man is macho or has certain roles that he needs to fulfill. And so being Mexican and being of that culture, Tacho is definitely aware of wanting to be macho, but at the same time, he does it in his own way. He does it by embracing something like calling his taco establishment La Mano Caída. He's putting out there that he's somebody who maybe does speak with Olympus very, very often, and he embraces that, and he turns that into a source of power and doesn't let that be something that can bring him down. And so I really enjoy his view of life, and it's something that I personally feel like I can identify with.
Absolutely. And if some of you haven't seen some of the scenes yet, Rafa plays Tacho. And so I know he has some definite insider context about that. But we do have some real specific ideas of what a man is supposed to be, what a woman is supposed to be. If you're familiar with the novel or not, or if you've seen some of the scenes, like Irma, right, running for mayor, like that is a huge thing. But she recognizes that she needs to have that courage and that bravery in order to do that for her community. And also because many of the men have left. So even if one wanted to run, who is it going to be, right? There's not that many options in terms of that. And so something that I want you all to think about within this particular novel, whether you read it or not, or just based on our thoughts or the scenes that you've seen, do you think that there are stereotypes that are reinforced? Or are there some stereotypes that maybe Urea kind of combats again, or even Karen Zacarias in her play adaptation? So taking a moment to think about that, if you want to put that in the chat, if you think stereotypes were reinforced in this particular piece, or were some of those traditional stereotypes combated? Ooh, let's see, Diana. Even the women who stay in the town exhibit different forms of feminist ideals by acknowledging that the girls do need to leave, absolutely, in order to find their place in the world. Absolutely, yes, they have that recognition. They know that something needs to happen, right? And they're the ones that are going to have to do it. What I very much appreciated, because I am totally a feminist, all about equality, I think Urea puts the power in the women's hands. Yes, I think a lot of that power was left in the men's hands, but once they either have disappeared or have not fulfilled their responsibilities, the women, and I think, of course, I'm a little bit biased, but they'll always step up, right? They're the ones that are going to step up. They're the ones that are going to figure it out for the benefit of their community. And so that's something that I very much appreciated. I know Nayeli goes through quite a bit of a journey, and that everything's not always as successful as she wants. So definitely in our other book talks, we're going to talk more in depth about that. So I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to save it a little bit. So I do appreciate that we kind of get this full sense of that through this particular piece. Let's see. Ooh, Diana, even more. I love it. And I know Diana's one of our amazing people up in New York. The generational differences don't follow the typical stereotype of especially Latinx older women being afraid, yes, of their family leaving. Absolutely. I think, yeah, as we see Tia Irma, we see everyone coming together and they're not afraid. I mean, they probably have a lot to be afraid of. And I think, again, that speaks to the strength and the courage that we see in that Menti graphic, that these women are willing to do absolutely whatever it takes. And I love the Nayeli self-defense, right? She's a soccer star, she's fit, she's in shape. But when her group of friends gets in trouble, or if something's going to be in the way of them making it to the north, she's going to take care of it, right? She's going to make sure that everyone is taken care of. And it's, again, not always successful. There's several points in the novel where it's not successful. And I appreciated that because I think it would have been really boring if she just made it. Yeah, like everything was fine. But I think that further showed her strength in kind of combating these stereotypes. But I will admit that she would sometimes use those stereotypes to her benefit, right? She would use these opportunities to smile or to flirt or to use certain words in order to get what she wanted. And I think that shows some maturity because she recognized that that is what she needed to do in order to get there.
Definitely. And, I guess this is something that comes across my mind, and I don't know if maybe this is something that you might be willing to speak about, or that we can talk about together, really, Adriana, is this idea that even though, like, you said something just now that really rang true to me, because in my mind, I was just thinking, like, why do these women feel like they need to go find men to come help and save the city? But at the same time, the way you framed it is the women are the ones that are stepping up and making this happen in order for this to improve their experience and their lives at Tres Camarones. But I mean, what do you think about that? The fact that they're going to seek men to come, in a way, save them.
Absolutely. And I think Diana brought up some good points, and I'm pointing here because my chat's over here, that we do have those original stereotypes, right? That they're talking about there's no men and we have to find them to save us. And I think that's something that is unfortunately embedded in a lot of, our cultures, whether it is Latinx or elsewhere. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of just even the Disney movies, right? It's always the woman waiting to be, of course, the much more modern ones, which my daughter loves, which I'm like, yeah, it's like Mulan, you don't need anybody, right? And Rapunzel, no, you don't need anybody. And so, but I think the original story was always that idea that women are weaker. And I love that this challenges that. Because they're not, everyone has different strengths. And I think this really speaks to that. But I would agree at the beginning, it's like, oh, we have to have the men to save. And I think some of it for Nayeli is also, when she talks about, as we saw in that previous scene, who's going to, walk me or give me flowers or my first kiss. So those things that, she's going to miss out on if there are no men for her to engage with. And so that makes a lot of sense. But I do agree that, yes, that original idea is there. That made me a little bit sad, but I think it was also very true. I think we see that a lot in society, and we see it a lot in our media as well.
Yeah. Wow.
Excellent.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I was just curious what your thoughts were on that.
We're going to talk about it, Rafa. Awesome. So we've had some thoughts. We've had some good conversation in the chat. And so now again, it's your turn. So if Rafa can explain how our next interactive element is going to work, and we'll go for it.
Yes, definitely. And so now it's time for the contest. And so what we would love to do is there's going to be a link that is going to be dropped in the chat in just one moment. And that is going to be the link to our Google Drive. So that's where you're going to be sending your photos. And so what we're looking for today is your best self-defense stance. And you can take that as a selfie. You can ask if someone's around, you can ask them to take a photo of you. But go ahead and please submit your best self-defense stance. And upload that into the Google Drive for us. So we'll give you all about 10 minutes to go ahead and get those uploaded. And so I would say about at least Mountain Time, at about 5:43, 5:44, we'll go ahead and be closing that up. And then whatever submissions we received, I'll go ahead and share those to you all. I'll create a poll, and you all will be doing some live voting in order to choose our winner for the best self-defense stance this evening. And so you go ahead and take those 10 minutes, take those photos, get them uploaded, and we will be seeing you here again shortly.
Excellent. Yeah, and you had some great inspiration from the text and also from Nayeli and Atomico. So we look forward to those, to see them in 10 minutes. The link is up there. You just upload it, and then the audience will vote, and you'll win a prize. See you in a bit.
Alrighty, folks, as Miss Adriana just posted in the chat, we are closing that up. We have all of our photos in. Okay. And so before we show everyone else the photos and get into voting here, I do just want to take a moment to remind you all about our upcoming events for Into the Beautiful North this coming week. And so maybe give me just a quick moment to pull that up for you all. So today is our first event of the week, of course, with this book talk. So on Tuesday, we'll be premiering our third scene excerpt from Into the Beautiful North on YouTube. On Thursday, we'll be premiering our next devised short video on Crossing the Border on YouTube as well as our Masculinity and Myth of the Cowboy the next day on Friday. On Friday, we're also going to be showing the costume design presentation from our costume designer for Into the Beautiful North. And on Friday, we'll be finishing up with our third book talk, which is going to be centering around the third scene of Into the Beautiful North. I also would like to share with you all our locations on where you can go and pick up a book here in El Paso. And so quick reminder once again that, of course, the books are while supplies last. However, we would love for you all to go visit our partners here. So you can check out Savage Goods, Cafe Mayapan, the UTEP English Department Mining Books effort. They are also distributing books. Chuco Relic, the Centennial Museum on campus at UTEP. The Rio Vista Little Library in Socorro is also handing out books. The Doris Van Doren Library, which, by the way, the Doris Van Doren Library, they're handling things. When you get there, there's a phone number for you to call, and they're kind of doing a car service. So when they bring your books out to you, that's how you'll be getting your free book from the Doris Van Doren Library. And the San Isidro Food Pantry will also be distributing books for Into the Beautiful North. And last but not least, I also want to take a quick moment to thank all who have contributed in so many ways to our efforts with Into the Beautiful North, and of course for the Department of Theater and Dance. And so, I'm sorry. Actually, that was, we have new ones. So I need to show you our updated list of folks that we would like to thank. So here we are. So thank you all so much to Anne Horak, Kristen Monson, Allison Westerman, Kathleen Cubitt, Georgina Costello, Yvonne Rolfe, Maria Plasencia, Mallory Driggers, the Reyes family, Rebecca Rivas, Yuvi Almanza, thank you so much. Diana Davila as well. Thank you. Especially thank you all for being here with us today and every book talk so far. We appreciate that. James Stratton, and of course, Miss Anna Souffle from UTEP Department of Theater and Dance as well. And so without further ado, let me go ahead and bring these photos up so that we can go ahead and get to voting. And so you'll notice that the poll down at the bottom is now live. So we got 4 participants in today. And so we will begin here. Alrighty, and so our first submission, we'll call this stance number 1. Vote for stance number 1 here. Mr. Orlando, thank you so much for your submission today. Next, we have the ever wonderful Yuvi Almanza, ready to defend. Then we have our third stance.
Oh, nice.
Looks like he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. We watched that self-defense video many times.
Right? And last but not least, our fourth self-defense stance for the evening.
And that's wonderful, Diana, who was giving a lot of that good info as well and great discussion.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Diana. So if you all want to take a quick moment, visit the link that right at the bottom of the screen there, polls, and go ahead and vote for your favorite self-defense stance.
We'll give you about a minute to do that. Ooh.
Neck and neck with 3 and 4.
Let's see. I'll give you a last shot, those of you that have not voted. Oh, here we go. And as we're talking about voting, don't forget, please, to vote. We know that for some states, registration has closed. We know there's different rules everywhere, but try and do it early. I know I'm going to try and go tomorrow, especially because, or Tuesday when it starts on the 13th, just because, you know, we never know what happens. We got to make plans. And so make sure you make that plan to vote. Make sure that your voice is heard. Absolutely. It's 100% important to do that. So I'll give you a few more seconds if those of you that have not voted. If you're looking for that poll, it's down there at the bottom. It says ask a question. Next to that is polls. You just click on it. It pulls up that poll, and then it says number 1, 2, 3, or 4 for our contestants today. So we'll see. Thank goodness we don't have the Electoral College on this one. This is all by popular vote.
Yes.
All right. We're going to close it. We're going to call it, Rafa?
I think we're at a tie. Yeah.
Okay. We're at a tie. So can you pull those two stances up again?
Yes. So once again, we have stance number 3.
Awesome.
And stance number 4. I miss Diana.
I love it. And so I'm just going to call it, and we're going to say that both of these are our winners. And so both of you are going to win a gift card to Chuco Relic, which is one of my favorite stores ever. They're one of our sponsors as well. When people go buy stuff, you can get a book there as well. I buy so many of my El Paso shirts, my earrings, everything there. So those of you that want, please make sure that you email me. I just put my email right there in the chat. And you will need to do 2 things. You'll need to email me, and then you also need to email that photo to me. Do note that we would like to put this on social media as well because we think you're awesome and amazing. So we're going to put that out there as well. And then I'm going to send you a digital gift card to Chuco Relic, and they ship all over. So even though, like I know Diana's up in New York, you can get some wonderful El Paso items delivered to you by Chuco Relic. That was awesome. I love it. Yay, Dan, I'm glad you love it. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We know Sundays are tough. We know the week is ahead and it can be long, but I think what's really cool, at least definitely in our community, tomorrow is going to be known as Indigenous Peoples Day, which is awesome. So I hope we can all honor that and celebrate that. And we hope that you can join us at our next event. We do appreciate you taking your time out of your busy days, and I know doing lots of virtual events can get exhausting, but we hope you will join us. And of course, I'm going to always incentivize it with probably another prize, but with something different, right? Last time it was drawing. This time it was you with your selfies, because we know people have different talents. And so we'll keep doing that as well. So thank you all so much for joining us. Please stay safe, take care, and we will see you at our next event. And please don't forget to vote.
Thank you. You have a good night.